the way you got together is the way you're expecting it to be. Expecting him to kind of keep a job consistently. He's, especially a man, because he's based on structure. So if he loses structure or he loses frame, then you're kind of on a time limit.
All right, guys, welcome back to another TOG video.
Wait, what? Did you those?
Yeah, I know, right?
Wait, what? Did you do those?
Yeah, I know, right? We're doing another one.
Where's that other guy at?
He's on a secret mission that I sent him to go do. I can't tell about it. It'll be a further later video.
Terrible.
Yeah. So, guys, today I thought I'd talk about something really interesting with J. Rose. I was scrolling through videos this week, and I was like, the main topic kept coming up is men being loved conditionally. Is it bad? Is it good? Is it neutral? What do you think when you hear those words? What do you think?
I think everyone is loved conditionally based on, preconceived notion about other human beings. Go ahead.
Gotcha. So I built 5 questions off of those videos. I was like, that's actually an interesting concept to think about. Because you know how you hear people are loved unconditionally. You should be loved for who you are. This or that. Be yourself, and people love you for that. So I just thought I built these 5 questions. So the first question I'm going to ask is, do men ever experience truly unconditional love in adulthood? Or does every relationship eventually tie to their worth of performance, provision, and strength?
If they believe in God, yes. If they don't, no.
That's fair. Honestly with you, I think it always leads to that. Because
we're all God's children, so otherwise, you're always loved unconditionally in a sense. But if you're,
I mean, like in a relationship,
in a relationship,
from your partner,
I don't think they're loved unconditionally in the sense that the second, I think in every relationship, the way you got together is the way you're expecting it to be. You should always expect the other person in front of you to somewhat stay the same individual you started off with. So if he starts off with a job, you expect him to kind of keep a job consistently. He's, especially a man, because he's based on structure. So if he loses structure or he loses frame, then you're kind of on a time limit where you either got to get your stuff together or you're probably not going to be the same person she knew back when, you started.
Yeah. And also from the concept, at least for me, it's more of, I could say I love you, but if I can't fix your problems or resolve what you're going through, I don't think my love really matters that much. Because you can say I love you, but if I can't help you, like I said, when we live together, I can't pay your rent or I can pay your food, your water, or anything of that. Is my love really? Is it really it's just a word? Love is just a word. At that
I think
point.
men's also should keep the people that they. I mean, men keep people grounded, they keep people structured, but I think men's ultimate thing is alignment. You should keep people aligned based on what you believe in. So you can't keep people aligned based on things you don't believe in, because you obviously have to believe that you're right, because otherwise, you're an insincere person. But if you're dealing with a girl and you kind of don't tell them the truth, then I'd rather tell them the truth than lie to them. I'd rather be an honest man than lie. So if you're talking to somebody and you're like, oh, we'll figure it out later, baby, you'll be okay, that's for their mom to tell them. I ain't their mom. I'm here to tell them the truth. I'm honest. Look, it doesn't mean you got to be an asshole. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't necessarily mean you got to be an asshole about it. That just means you tell her the blunt truth. You can, I essentially the same thing I say at work. You want the PR response or you want the honest response? So the PR response is, baby, you'll eventually figure it out. The honest response is okay, let's work through this. I got the solution here. Here's my thoughts about it. If you're actually asking me my opinion, if you're asking I feel like also if you're asking somebody their opinion, you shouldn't be mad at their response.
Yeah, okay, what do you think?
Yeah, if you're actually asking me what I think, but if you're not, then I can just stay quiet. But otherwise, me staying quiet in a relationship isn't going to keep the thing afloat. So
if anything, you just get resentful.
Men are already, I think, 60% quieter than the women anyway. So
you should put that fact right here so we can see it.
No. Okay, Kevin, go ahead.
All right. Question number 2. How much of men are loved conditionally is society's fault versus men accepting relationships where their value is based off their utility. How much do you think it's society's fault?
I think it's the way we are engineered. I don't think it's necessarily society's fault. I think it's the fact that we were born the way we were born.
So do you think we just accept it?
I'm a traditional man. I think you should accept it in the sense that we're maintaining some sense of uh a basis in reality. So like, men just are built to be this way um in a biological sense. So we're built on structure and um maintaining fluidity for whatever the world needs and kind of architecture and the way the world is based on. So it is what it is. It's just how it is. It's not necessarily society. It's just how it is. We're built this way.
So do you think it's mostly us accepting it?
Um,
I don't think it's a bad thing, honestly. If I'm being honest.
I don't think it's necessarily us accepting or not accepting. I just think it is what it is. Like we whether you accept it or not has nothing to do with anything. You got to do it anyway.
Yeah, you could be in a relationship where, you
You're
don't
going
provide.
to do it anyway.
I was gonna
Like,
say, or you could be in a relationship where you don't provide anything. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in that, but you do you, big dog.
yeah. I ain't gonna
You
lie.
you do you.
I don't think that's a relationship. I think you're just situationship.
Yeah,
at
it's a
that point.
situation. You have nothing to offer.
Yep.
But that's okay. There's a lot wrong with that. But you know what? For the PR answer, there's nothing wrong with that.
You can do what you do as long as you're honest about it.
And be yourself.
Yeah.
PR response. All right. Next one. Can a man be fully vulnerable with their partner without changing how she sees him? Or is man vulnerability inherently risky in relationships?
I think losing frame is inherently risky in relationships, whether you're a male or female. If you're a female, you keep your feminine frame. If you're a male, you keep your masculine frame.
I think it just depends on the partner, in all honesty.
So, that's a PR response.
Wait, is it true?
No. I mean, well, the situation may depend on the relationship, but I think the overall idea of like maintaining frame, this is talked about in psychology. You're maintaining your frame. So the second you start getting I have to stop. Sometimes all men get like that, right? Sometimes you have a moment where you just kind of like
Lose it.
not lose it. I wouldn't say that. That sounds like a crash out. You kind of start falling victim to your emotions. So you'll start saying stuff you wouldn't normally say if you were in if you were. So sometimes you do have to stop, breathe, take a second, and say what you're gonna say, because otherwise, you start saying things based off the top of your dome and not necessarily like something you sit there and think about. Because mind you, everything takes a second when they make the most valuable response. AI takes a second when it makes the most valuable response. It takes a couple of seconds, maybe 10 seconds, maybe 20, maybe 30 minutes. So, men, a lot of the men's frame takes a second. They tell you before you respond to anything, take a second and think about it. Think before you speak. These quotes have meaning in real life. So before you make a response to somebody in a sort of argumentative, otherwise debating or uneducated way, a rampant way, or crash out way or whatever, take a second, breathe. If it's probably need to breathe longer depending on what needs to be said, and make a response that you feel like is the most honest one.
Breathe air, guys.
Yeah.
Breathe air. But no, in all honesty, I think it's situational based and depends on the partner. Because, well, if your mom passes away, I don't expect you to keep it like perfectly fine or sane for a little bit.
If you are married, yes. If you're not, I would just take a second from everybody in general. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that depends on you though, because some people talk to other people, then go to take time to themselves. Other people take time to themselves, then talk to other people. So it just depends on you as an individual. But I would say like you should probably take time to yourself to kind of cope with whatever you have going on. If it's like something like your mom dying or something, I don't think like you're gonna just thug it out. Yeah, I'm gonna be that's not realistic.
Yeah, because I mean, for the guys at least, I think it's riskier because I'm like, they probably look at you differently afterwards, or they don't look at you the same way, which is I'm like,
because now all they see is a cry.
yeah,
You know,
pretty
you
much.
crying
So it's kind of like it's up to you if you want to risk that.
subconsciously.
I mean, I'm not saying every girl's gonna be like that because that's a lie, but I think the most wildest one I saw was like there was this pro UFC fighter, he my professional,
Mhm.
not amateur, dating this other female pro UFC fighter, and basically she openly said, "Oh, I lost attraction when he lost his fight." I was like, "Hey man, that man probably kicked."
I'll make this argument for that, right? And it's kind of shallow, but I'll say it like this: I'm not saying like okay, right or wrong in that sense, but I think that is losing frame in the sense that you lost. Your performance was literally hindered by the fact that you lost. So I think crying doesn't necessarily make you lose out on a funeral. Like if you're at a funeral, obviously you're gonna, whatever emotion you got it. But I'm saying like in a situation where you are in a fight and you literally lose money based on that fight, I'm not saying it's just fight she, broke up with him. I think that's kind of wild. But I'm saying like that is literally you lost something. You lost the battle. So that's different than like you being in a funeral because your mom passed away. I think those are two different, fundamentally different things. You're in a environment where you are literally meant to cope with your mom passing away, rather than like an environment where you literally make money, aura, personality, vibe, whatever these new age kids say, based on what's going on.
Bro, why you gotta make it sound so old?
I talk like an unk. Not bad. I talk like a big bro.
I was gonna say, I was like, hey man, I'm not
I'm
that old,
I'm wise beyond my years, as they say.
but yeah, no, honestly with you, I think it is risky, depend depending on the person, like I said,
Loki, I purposely talk like an unk. No.
and they just look at you differently, and like like you guys won't say anything. I think you'll feel it, like oh, it's different now, regardless of what you do. But like I said, it's situational. I don't think it's every single situation.
I think you take the first. I mean, I don't know, man. That's just whether you think you can like kind of not let the emotions affect your life. Like I think it's based on whether it affects your life, right? Like if your emotions make you lose that battle, that fight, the people around you might perceive you as weak. But if you're in a situation where you're at a funeral, I think that's literally a place where you submit to whatever the situation is going on in the environment. If you cared about the person, you care about the person. If you didn't, you didn't. So I don't know. It just depends on whether you think you care about her opinion if you cried or not, or if you think she leaves you. Is that like do you think she was just shallow anyway? Because if she leaves you because that she's just shallow anyway. If she leaves because your mom died, I don't think she's for you anyway. Because otherwise, you can find a new girl who's
Hey
better.
man,
Go on, do your thing.
just cry by yourself or cry with the homies, bro.
As I'm making 100K a year, go on and do your thing.
Okay, bro, cry to your homies, bro.
You got this, girl.
All right. Fourth question. If love becomes weaker when a man loses status, money, or confidence or direction, was it love to begin with? I think it is. I think it's still love anyway.
Well, this goes back to the unconditional question, right? So, you know, I don't think anybody's love is purely unconditional. There's situations where you stop talking to your mom, your dad. There's situations where you stop talking to your grandma. There's situations where you sell your pet because they're doing crazy, or there's situations where like you just stop your relationship because it's kind of a shallow reason. But I think discrimination or it's kind of normal in that way. So
So do you think it's still love or no?
I think the second you lose frame, you are putting yourself to the condition that you're losing yourself based on where you started the relationship at. So if you're going further down based on where you started a relationship, she doesn't want to see a downtrend on you. She wants to see potential. You promised her your potential by showing her who you were.
So is that love or is that investing?
I think it's both. Two things can be true at the same time. Your love is an investment.
So you still think it's love, even though
I
you
think
start losing it?
you went on dates with her, you invested in her. You invested your emotions, your time, your money, and your otherwise better potential relationships with this one person to commit to them. So otherwise you are committing to that, who she was when you went out with her, right? But if she
Mhm.
starts changing in a way that's indistinguishable from where you started, then you're probably not gonna be with it for too long. So yes, I think love is conditional.
I was gonna say I think your love is tied to all four of these things, and the second you start slipping on them is when it becomes less valuable to anybody in general.
No, no, that's
Because
well,
yes, it is.
not men and women though, because men and women are different. Well, we
No,
value different things,
I mean in that
generally speaking.
I mean in the aspect of like I could tell my mom I love her, but let's say she gets into like an accident and needs this expensive surgery, I can't afford it, and I decide to bullshit for so many years. I'm like, do I really love you?
It's a deeper question of what do you think love is? Do you think love is conditional? But do you know what love itself is to say it's conditional or not? So, like, you know, is love conditional? Yes, for a lot of people, but some people
99%.
some people would say, based on the relationship and based on the relationship itself, bonding itself, that it may just be a different um it may have different principles. Like you may as a romantic relationship not believe in unconditional love, like in the sense that you found them how they were in the middle of your life and you believe that they will generally stay where they are or better. But as your mom and your dad, most of the time it's unconditional in the sense that as long as you are not doing something heinous, like unbelievably crazy, that they can't find a way to continue to love you and support you. If you're just an average guy, they're probably gonna love you and support you for the rest of your life. If you're better than average, they're probably gonna love you for the rest of your love you and be with you for the rest of your life, unless you do something that specifically with them that will make you stop talking to them. So I think different forms of love have different boundaries. So that depends on whether you believe love is unconditional with your partner itself or not. I don't think it is in any situation, but
I
that just
don't.
that just depends on whether you believe that they can stay the same person that you met with or better. Otherwise, no.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're not doing what you need to do for them, not for yourself, do you really love them? Because, and I've learned this recently. I'm like, I can say I love you, but I'm like, if I'm not doing anything, I'm like, do I really love you? Or am I just saying this just to say it?
I think it's how you frame the context of it. Like you could say like, well, it's messed up that you don't believe that love with your partner is unconditional, even if you question it, right? But if you tell her, hey, this is your brother, hey, this is your father, hey, this is your son,
Mm-hmm.
they'll probably frame that differently in their mind. So that shows them that unconditional love may be wrong if you frame it from their parents or their siblings or their children, so they can see it in your way, like where you think, oh, it's stupid that you would stay with that girl. Well, this is what it is now, right? um y- you just have to frame the question properly to them. I mean, you have to frame, my bad, you have to frame yeah
The
the
idea?
question, yeah the idea properly, to whoever you're trying to explain it to, right? You may say that this is just a smart decision. They may say it the same way to their parents or whatever. If they think you're failing, right? They may go like, well, he doesn't have a job, and then their parents can be like, I fucking told you he was stupid. I knew he was fucking stupid. He's dumbass. You shouldn't have been out with that guy anyway. There's your unconditional love from your parents for conditional love with your boyfriend. There you go. So no, I don't think love is unconditional.
So you still believe it. So basically, even though all those things are dropping, you still believe like love. The love was genuine either way. That was basically the question.
I think as long as you explain what you believe that are boundaries for you in a relationship, honestly, yes.
I don't know. I think it's still love either way. So
No, no, yes, I think it's love either way. That's what I'm saying.
all right, and the question 5 is: should men seek unconditional love, or should they accept the adult relationships that are transactional to some degree and build accordingly?
Wait, say the question again. My bad.
I'm saying, should men seek unconditional love or accept the adult relationships and build accordingly?
Uh, I think that they should seek a. I think they should seek a balance between the two.
Go on.
So, y- um, I believe that you should seek long term a long term fashion that may have boundaries with it. So like if they're doing something that you just cannot see you cannot see yourself agreeing with, then that's the condition right there, right?
Mhm.
But if you think like your overall your idea of a relationship is to be long term
Mhm.
or for the rest of your life, you know, if you're trying to get married or stay with the person for the rest of your life. So that's my idea of it. Like I think the conditions are the boundaries and the relationship itself is staying based on those boundaries.
For me, it's more of I don't think guys should look for unconditional love because then in that aspect, I believe you at some point in time you become complacent, and complacency is never good in relationships. So to me, it's like always build accordingly because the higher you build your accordingly, I guess you get your pick of who you want. Realistically, there is no I have to settle or I have to just pick this. I pick whoever I want. At that point, I have more control of the game than anything else because most people are going to be conditionally loved anyway. So I might as well be to the highest degree to where I can get what I want from my
I
aspect.
I feel like as a man, you should just do it for the love of the game anyway.
Yes,
I mean,
it
essentially,
comes with it.
'cause I feel like eventually you're gonna realize that you're just doing it for the love of the game. Like it's not necessarily like it's not necessarily always going to be a boost to you. That's what an investment is.
Hmm.
You may have to invest in a little bit for a long term success in anything.
Yeah, and I just don't see the bad side of it. I just don't. But maybe because, like I said, I'm more. That's
Purely
my.
unconditional relationships are a bad side. I mean, we already live in a mixed economy. Think about it like that.
Hmm.
So it's not always unconditional that, you know, they'll always hold down their end of the bargain. You always hold down your end of the bargain in the sense that you're never gonna get emotional. You're never gonna have any emotions come out. You're always gonna look good. You're always gonna you're always gonna be A1 in the gym. You're never gonna get off your frame. You know, it's not in that sense, but I'm saying like you know, as long as you stick to a certain discipline for the most part and you hold out, I guess, quote unquote, who you are, then you can keep going
Mm.
because they're staying with who they thought you were in the beginning. That's why I always tell when somebody's talking to me about a relationship problem, I always tell them like, don't worry about if they're losing interest. Worry about staying who you were when you met them. That's what they see you as when you become fresh or, you know, like when you feel refreshed or fresh in a relationship. Like you feel like when you go on a like for instance that's the version of a vacation in a sense, like okay, you're coming back to who you were, you know, you're going back to your normal everyday self.
Mm.
That is essential. That's where you need to be at, because let's say you're having a problem, let's say you're getting on somebody, you're doing too much, you can go back to that fresh self and start being who you were. And whether they take that good or bad is up to them, because at the end of the day, you are who you are who you say you are.
Hmm.
That's the best course of action for you. And if you're having problems with relationship, is just go back to who you were. You know, not that if it got a little toxic, go back to the beginning, reset. If it got a little too much, go back to the beginning, reset. If you know you're arguing, go back to the beginning and reset. Just be who you were, and then give them time. And you know, y'all can talk about it afterwards, whether you believe that time is a problem, whatever, so on, so on, so. But at the end of the day, as long as you stay in frame and you come back to who you were, you take a second, should be alright.
That, and I also believe looking for something unconditional is fairy tale. Like it sounds nice. At the same time, it's kind of like not realistic because the second they say the smallest thing, I believe you're just gonna go into this
I don't think you
dark
want
hole.
unconditional love anyway.
I don't either.
Because when you're let's frame it like this: when you're talking to your parents and they're saying like things that are always biased towards you. Let's talk about AI. For instance, that's also another thing. That like AI would be like your parent in a sense. If they're always talking to you as if they're affirming what you think is true, that's unconditional love, right?
Hmm.
Then you don't want that because you're gonna feel like they're being not manipulative,
Disingenuous.
disingenuous, yeah. So you're if you're talking to them, it's like, Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you did it right. Yeah, keep going. If they're a yes man, quote unquote, not necessarily saying yes, but like if they're a yes man, they're always affirming what you're saying. They're always dismissive. It's pretty much the same thing to you. You're gonna always think they're being disingenuous. They're not ever giving you an opportunity to really to. They're not really ever going down with you with your problem. So you don't really want unconditional love. I don't think people want unconditional love. The only unconditional love you want is probably from God. That's other than that, no.
That and it makes you question the whole relationship.
Yes,
Like,
because if you, for instance, get unconditional love from a partner, let's say you do something wrong and they stick it out, they keep going, you're going to look at them like, well, I can do whatever I want now. You don't care
mm-hmm.
because you think their unconditional love is ingenuine because you can't love me even though I do something terrible. Like not pay attention to you. If somebody's in an abusive toxic relationship, if you love me anyway, you don't really care about me being either the person that you met me as or a genuinely good person or an overall good person. How does the quote go from Marcus Aurelius? Don't talk about being a good man, just be one. Yeah, that's
Gotcha. All right. Now, time for the final question. It's actually a two-parter. Define average guy in 2026.
what in what sense? Because that's a loaded question. What do you want to frame that as? You're the question asker in this sense.
Relationship wise.
Um, well, I'll say it like this.
Average.
120K a year.
I wish.
Well, middle class. I'm saying not average. Oh, let me
Middle
say
class, not
average. My
120.
bad. Okay, let me not say average and middle class are the same thing. Um, well, in Georgia, the lady told me 80K a year, no debt. But
No, that's not average.
let's say
Average
this
is
20,
50.
20 let's oh yeah, I was about to say 60.
50.
But let's say 50K a year, um working at a 9 to 5 with uh average gym results, and I mean regular gym results, you probably go like twice 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
You put you put a little bit of your money in stocks, probably less than $100. You probably don't have more than $500 in savings, and your credit's probably somewhere in the 600s.
Gotcha. How confident is this guy?
He's probably he's probably wait, how old is he?
Say between the ages of 21 and 28.
That's a big range. I ain't gonna lie.
24, 28.
All right. He's probably good at talking to girls. He's probably not quite all the way with long term relationships because he just got out of his phase where he's just trying to figure out how to talk to girls. Um so he's probably
Right.
confident enough. He's probably confident enough on a day where he feels refreshed.
Okay, what about how ambitious this is? What's his ambition like?
Fucking terrible.
Average, right?
Fucking terrible because he's not in his 30s yet.
All right. Now keep that guy in your mind.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. Let's say you met a guy who was amazing shape, made over 6 figures a year, had that confidence boost and ego. And it was like, because I'm gonna keep scaling, I'm gonna keep scaling, I'm gonna keep scaling in life, all over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And then he suddenly overnight became average. And let's say he was already like in a 3-year relationship. Do you genuinely believe that that relationship would still thrive?
He just became average. Yes, the relationship will still thrive because think about it like this:
Mhm.
secrets of a millionaire mind. If you have a millionaire mindset, you're always gonna have a millionaire mindset. You just have you already know what made you $1,000,000. You just have to do it again.
But you just said that his confidence isn't there. Well, and his
Oh,
ambition.
I thought you said just
Yeah, I know.
confidence, and
That's
he
what I
went
said.
average.
Then he switched, yeah, overnight.
Um,
Would the relationship thrive?
Maybe. Uh, I think he knows. I'm not saying it's confidence there. I think he knows how he made himself a millionaire. He still hasn't forgot that. He just has to do it again. So whenever he gets his stuff together, I think she'll. I mean, it just depends on what he thinks she'll stick around long enough for that to happen.
On average, do you think they stick around?
I don't know how long it takes for somebody to get right back into their millionaire status. Maybe if she sticks around for about a year, I think you can figure it out. A year is a long time.
A year is crazy.
A year is a long time.
A year is wild.
Based on the way people quit jobs in 6 months, I think if he can figure it out in 6 months, yes.
How much time do you think he has left before she leaves?
6 months.
He said 6 months. Now, the fun question is that real love then?
Yes. She loves him enough to let him go.
Yo. But yeah, no, those are the questions I was like looking up as I was looking at these conditional videos. But what are your final thoughts or ideas?
And remember, folks, if she has a snake, she found the lake.
Guys, it's okay to be conditionally loved. There's nothing wrong with that. It makes society advance better, build better, and perform better. That's how new ideas get invented.
Yeah.
Remember, J-Ro, that's how everything gets invented because we're doing it for them.
Take your time, folks. Do not rush. Don't let anybody rush you because if they rush you, you ain't on your own time and then you don't get the product out properly.
Yeah, guys. So, Mr. J-Rose, how many kisses have you gotten this year?
An innumerable amount.
That's fair.
From I guess the same people. So like,
So you go to Target and buy like the bag, like from Target specifically, over and over, or you go to Publix?
I don't know the SKU number, but I guess if it's a small bag, big bag, got you.
That's fair. That's valid. But yeah, guys, that was a video. Oh wait, never mind. We got an outro. What am I doing?
Thanks for watching another talk video. Make sure you rewatch this 100 times. All right, guys. Thanks for watching another talk video.
Yeah, guys. Make sure you replay the video 37 times and you tell your dad about it. You tell your cousin Tracy about it. And make sure you tell your ex-girlfriend about it.
Wait, why would I tell my ex-girlfriend?
Hey, man, she ain't got nothing better to do. I'm just being honest.
Of course she doesn't, because college is the best thing on the planet.
Yeah, guys.
Well, we'll see you guys next time. See ya, saw ya, sayonara.
I'm doing the hand thing. You can't see it right now, but I'm kind of doing the hand thing.